Hello, welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'll be with you for the next hour, hanging out, having some fun. I'll have the latest news about the Lord of the Rings Online. I'm Lotro's community manager. Name's Cordovan. I think you all know that if you're watching this show here on a Friday at noon. Welcome. Hope you have a great weekend. We do have quite a bit of news that we'll be talking about. Most of it was published on the forums this week. We had a follow-up patch. We're heading into Black Friday, and we have a patch in very early December after that. I'll have a few details about that today. And we're going to be in-game, continuing the Song of Waves and Wind. I'm at Chapter 2.4. That's where we left off at the end of last week's stream, and so we're ready to continue it this week. So, how y'all doing? Let me get cameras switched slightly. All right. Okay. So the main thing I want to talk about in terms of news is that we did release update 38.0.1, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the details in the bullet points here in just a second. This came out on Wednesday. Today is Friday, so it may be old news for some, but if you haven't seen it yet, check it out on lotra.com. In particular, we have new rewards in the loot boxes. We have some things that were on Rowan Raspberry that are headed to the curator, and therefore also we have new things that were in the loot boxes. Much of the items are also available for Rowan Raspberry. So, big ol' shake-up this week and loot box rewards. So you might be interested in that. We do have a web page that I'll get to in just a second here. We also had the 8th season of the LI reward track kick off on Wednesday, and then we had some bug fixes as well. That was our first follow-up patch since the release of Corsairs of Umbar the Wednesday prior. We do have a follow-up patch as well. There is a 38.1 scheduled for, I think it's going to be a few weeks from now, in part due to that Thanksgiving holiday I mentioned. Kind of takes a big chunk out of time, because people are spending time with families and things like that. So we're working on the patch now, and when we come back from from the break, we'll be working on it some more. I think our current schedule for our next planned release is something like the first week of December, but we'll see what happens here in the next week or so, because, you know, we do have a 38.1. That'll be coming out to deal with any remaining issues. But we were able to do a whole bunch of things this week, including, say, re-enable the Flame of Encalamir, and just sort out a bunch of kind of initial post-launch bugs. So, also task quests in Umbar. Oh, and we brought back the interlude of Chapter 7. In Chapter 7. So, and that's the spoilery one. So we'll get to that eventually, I think, here on the live stream, but it's going to be a little bit yet. All right, so that's the release notes. I wanted to call out specifically the loot box update because we have a web page. It's our endeavor to keep this a constant so that in the future, when we do loot box updates, we'll not only be able to preview some of the hot stuff in it, but we'll also get you some information about what's going where. And there's a lot. It's a kind of there's spreadsheets involved, but we're ready for it for update 38 here. Well, I say, yeah, it got published this week. So you can see cosmetics of the new items. This is also available in French and German. These items are available for with Rowan Raspberry for Figments of Splendor, but there are a few things that are loot box only, like, I believe that Falcon Perch. Anyway, we've got a list. Added to loot box, also available. Only in loot boxes is the... How do I say that word? I should have thought about this before I went live. Is this like a Boston thing? It's macaw, isn't it? Is it macaw? Or is it macaque? It's pronounced Worcester. Okay, so additionally some older Avatar cosmetics and steeds have been moved off of Rowan Raspberry and onto the Curator. And you can find that list on the website as well. So, wanted to call it out. nice guide here for what's up, where, and what new things you can get, both with Rowan Raspberry and elsewhere. Did want to call out as well that we were able to provide a little bit of information this week about what our post-launch plans are for Corsairs of Umbar, specifically some of the content coming up in December here. So I want to make sure that the folks on stream are aware of that as well. So around December 6th, I believe this is going to be 38.1, but we'll see. We'll include the following: 28 new quests in the Hunter's Expedition Camp in the Cape of Umbar. I understand that some people have said, wait a second, where's that? I will get that information to you prior to launch. We will also add a modest number of repeatable quests to this location to contribute to allegiance gains. Allegiances are going up to tier 20 for further purchases along the Allegiance barter rewards. Crafting guilds are going to become available with the December 6th release as well, and we have a lot more that we're going to say about crafting. I know that one of the main pieces of feedback in this thread since I posted it was yesterday has been for more detail about information about the crafting in particular. I don't have a lot of that information on hand today, but I know that Orion is working on a crafting update sort of text post. It'll end up being a post in the forums. It'll also be part of the release notes, things like that. And so I know that work is being done to get you more information to answer some of those questions about crafting here, but I don't think I've got a whole lot more that I could say about it today. Also, missions are coming to Umbar and Barabel. Make your way to the Bloody Eagle Tavern in Umbar to complete new missions from the Umbari mission givers, taking place in Umbar, the Cape of Umbar, and the Shield Isles. These missions will award allegiance tokens for both the Order of the Eagle and the Lodger Keepers, as well as modest gifts, I can't see that in my monitor, of Uri, to level up your preferred allegiance. The Combe Forester event is also set to come back. Hopefully that December... I don't know if it'll be December 6th that it's going to launch back. I'll have to talk to folks about that yet. I think I actually should have clarified that before now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, wait a second. I don't know that it's going to start December 6th, but the work to fix it will at least be in that patch, is my understanding. And we'll let you know on the timing of the Combe Forester event. Could launch day and date, but maybe not. I'm not sure. So, that's what we got for you for this Friday. Also, I would point out that in roughly January, you can expect the new instances, and then after that will be the new raid. I don't want to get into timing on that one yet. Allegiances will also unlock to level 30 early next year. So, you know, that'll be the plan for 2024. The instances and the raid numbers are what's stated in Corsairs of Umbar. On the web page there, I suppose I could call it out, but it was, what, like 211, something like that? Whatever it was on the web page is what's coming out with the instance cluster here. And then we've got the raid coming. And then with the raid coming out, we're going to have the delving rewards be updated as well. That's something that came up this week that I don't know, you know, it's probably our fault, right? We maybe didn't make it clear enough. But the intention of the delving system is that the rewards are updated when Tier 3 of the new raid is released. And that's by design. Remember when we had Orion on for the delving kind of dev diaries and chats? It was about offering an alternate path for, in some cases, raid comparable gear that would coincide with the release of Tier 3 of the new raid. And that's what we did initially here with the delvings and the reward system, if I recall correctly. But now that a little time has passed, for whatever reason, I don't know that that message carried over into Corsairs of Umbar. And if there's something I said that led you to believe the delving rewards would be up to 150 on release or something, that's my fault. I apologize if I don't recall saying that, but maybe I did. I say a lot of things. Anyway, so the intention is it'll be released later with the release of the raid for 150 delving rewards. So, yeah. That was something that came up, and I guess we just, it kind of caught us by surprise. We were like, oh, yeah, okay, well, wait a second, don't people know that? And maybe it's my fault that you don't know that. So that's the plan. So, All right, so I think I took care of Hadurb's question about that. Harmonious Falcon Perch via Rowan Raspberry 7K Splendor. Okay. When I first read that, I was like, Falcon Punch? We have that? That's surprising. All right, I would like to go on record for simplifying item names, like changing the Flame of Encalamir to Fred's Lighter. Well, I mean, let's be real here. We are in a world populated through the Lord of the Rings and Tolkien, so some of our language may be perhaps occasionally a bit more flowery than that which you would see in other games. I appreciate what you're saying about Fred's lighter and things like that. But we do like to do that. So it's something that we try to. It comes up for us most often when we're trying to name expansions or big content releases because we don't want to. I don't know. There have been perhaps times in the past where the name of the expansion or the name of the content release was such that people had a difficult time spelling it. Doesn't happen often, but it has happened. And that's where it occasionally comes up for us. But it's good feedback. So my understanding, related to your profession question, is that you do in fact, give up the progress you made on the profession that you're replacing, right? Because if you're at max and you're getting rid of one to be back at max, I think that's right? Maybe someone in chat can clarify a little further on that one. And I believe the process is done really by speaking to the trainers, is it not? All right. I think it's too early to really speculate about Scholar and Prospector crafting events. I think that what Orion has said to date, perhaps during chats like this or in forum threads, is really the latest word on that. We've been busy doing other stuff. Up to and including getting the Comb Forester event working solidly. So I think their time will come, but it's not going to happen until a bunch of other work is done first. So we'll see. Sorry, Schmooze, I don't know your question about trying to find the crab. I apologize. I don't know that one. Have we seen, like, say, the videos by Gin and Louis? Sure. Yep. 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 They're both well done videos with a lot of feedback to offer. So. Yes, you do give up any and all progress you had in a profession that you swap out, correct. And it is, in fact, done with the trainer. Thank you so much, Krell. So, now, update on delving. No update, I assume you mean, on delvings for a couple of months. Uh, yes, I believe that is true. We will have some new missions available in that patch in December, and my belief would be that those would eventually offer delving versions. But I will leave it to Ryan and crew to provide more information about that in the future. All right, I think I've covered most of the news. Let me do one quick check through. I would just mention this. Next week, we do have our Black Friday sales. I can't give you information about what they are. I can't tell you exactly even when they start. Although I would expect our typical cadence to persist next week, which is usually we want to have Thursday and off. And so that means we don't want to publish our sales on Thursday we want to be there when they go live, especially for things like Black Friday sales. So typically, they start on roughly or sometime on Wednesday. But I it could be that they will start like say midnight on Thursday or something like that. I'll have more information next week on it, but I would expect our typical cadence to persist there in terms of our Black Friday sales. And I can't tell you what they're going to be either, and I apologize for that. But it'll also be what I see as a if you've been following our game for years and have been and seen many a Black Friday sale, I think that you'll find this year's sale to be pretty comparable to what we often do for this kind of thing. All right. I can say that. I can also say that on Wednesday is that right? Wednesday? Yeah, okay. So on a Wednesday, next Wednesday, we're also having a buried treasure event come back. That's going to start at 10 a.m. Eastern, and it looks like run until, I believe this is 3 a.m. Eastern on the 27th. I'll check my own schedule to confirm that. But I think that's true. And so we got a buried treasure event next week as well, and that's pretty cool. We're also getting close to the end of the public event list, which, let me be honest, took a whole bunch of work last year about this time to really get going on and get it all put together and published in English, French, German, and all the other kind of thing, and get it all relatively locked down so that we could do that. I'll be doing that again this year for 2024. I don't know if it'll be, probably it's a December task. Could theoretically be early January because I do have it populated out, really roughly. Well, actually, our January schedule's not looking too good. All right, so I'll do it in December. And that'll be a December task. But that'll be happening here as well. All right, let's get in game. Do wants to know, do sort of other corporate entities provide a lot of pressure on release date? Not really. Not really. We don't really talk about that kind of thing, but it's fine. It's no, is the answer. All right. We are chapter 2.4, Low Tide. We're speaking to Sirgon on the eastern docks of Pelargir in King's Gondor. King Elsar and Sirgon consider the poor state of the Gondorian navy following the events of the War of the Ring.
My king has done me the great honor of allowing me to step down.
I will do the best I can to repay him. Gondor's fleet is at its lowest ebb now, but I hope to restore its glory to such a height as has not been seen in hundreds of years. But I have a task, and it will occupy my waking moment. My son has his own. It involves clearing out unsavory folk that have been taken to preying upon the folk of Pelargir. Ships cannot be built without folks, and folks can't work if they're being burgled and such. Will you aid my son? Yes. I was afraid I was going to have to build a boat. And, I don't know that much about boat building, but punching people I can do. All right. Then you hopefully won't need to do too many edits. Well, are you talking about the events list? Well, it's a living document. It really is. It's a document that you try to get as accurate and long-term as you can, but if you think you're going to get it once and done on that, I myself learned things this year about, oh yeah, right. Often when things are busiest, that's when you forget to update this thing. Because things are busy, because things are happening, you know what I mean? And so trying to pre-plan my own, lay down enough of my own track to keep up to date with that thing wasn't always the easiest in the world, though it wasn't too bad. Most of the work was front-loaded on it. But, You know, we found in particular, and maybe this to some extent is just a matter of training the community a little bit on it, but is this it? No, it's not where I want to go. This way. What was I going to say? I'm sorry. Give me a second. Yes. Okay. It's true that we gave a few release dates, essentially, with the release of the public event schedule, because of the work that is often done that needs to be included in the public event schedule. That, you know, you can put 2 and 2 together on pretty solidly and come to an accurate result. And so there's a few things like that. Also, that then, as a result, because development is often fluid, you know, sometimes things don't always happen in November that you think might be happening in January, for example. It doesn't always quite work out the way you expect. Actually, the brigands are down here, I think. So, is that right? Yeah. It means that sometimes, you know, that we have approximate dating, or dating that isn't always going to be 100%. And I think to some extent, maybe that's okay. We just kind of have to be like, well, this is a high-level version of it. And some of the details, you know, when I've got a little approximate, I mean approximate. And then I just need to be a little more diligent, I think, in 2024 about trying to make sure that gets updated. Remember the things that we put approximate dating on. Can we reduce the stuck timer instead of 1 hour? That would be a question, I think, that would be better able to be considered by others on the team. I don't know that I've got an easy answer for you. I mean, I would think that the actual, is it possible, is sure. I'm sure it could be done. Why is it set to an hour, though? It might be a question that would need to be more fully discussed before making any kind of commitment. But yeah. I mean, it would just be, I think it's like, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how it could be abused until after it's abused to some extent. So maybe you need to be careful about opening up avenues of things. But I don't really see why that would be a problem at this point. It's really probably mostly set just because, decision made long ago. Could well be reconsidered. Who knows? Lauren wants to know if we'll be having a producer's letter in January. I can't promise that it'll be January per se, but yes, I would expect to see sometime roughly... Is this what I'm going for? Yeah. I took the direct route. Yeah, I would expect to see that in the early part of 2024 if we can. Usually February me really hates December me when I talk about the producer's letter. But I would say that, yeah, we've got a lot of planning that's been taking place for 2024, and things are looking like they're on track to be able to put together some kind of document roughly early January, February. That would outline the year ahead. And if we can get... I think what you'll see, though, which is also fairly typical of the producer's letters, is by the time the letter itself is published, we've already at least made you aware of some number of bits from it that perhaps we can sort of talk about in less official terms before it becomes officially announced as part of a producer's letter and official roadmap. So we'll see. But yes is the answer. We'll definitely have one for 2024. I don't know if I have the fortitude to follow my father as the Lord of Lebanon, but I'll do my duty as best I can. I've begun by trying to stamp out the brigands. My father's right. If we are to resist foes from Umbar, we must repair and rebuild our ships. Catch up with them at the dry dock. Okay. I don't know. It's an interesting story. Perhaps there will come a time due where we can more talk about kind of how everything came to be. You're asking basically the story of how SSG was created. What is out in the press and that is really what we can talk about right now. We're still writing it. It's a little early. The kind of retrospective as to what it was like during the transition and all that sort of thing is... Its time has not come. It's true. My steed, poor steeds. Actually, is this right? Yeah. No, it isn't right. Oh, darn it. Alright, well, let me get back up. This way. There we are. Now, we want to go here. I only bring the best. These steeds are well prepared to deal with my nonsense. I would love to see... I'm actually surprised at this point we've never had any kind of... I mean, maybe you wouldn't even call them wedding bands. Commitment bands, perhaps, or something like that. Symbols of your vow, and what have you. But the idea of having essentially wedding rings that you could have in game sounds like, why haven't we done that? So... I don't think, Egarther, that the plan to add delvings to Elder Slade missions is dead. It's just that, yes, at the time, way back when that was mentioned as, in the future we can probably, sort of thing, its time hasn't come yet, because work ended up being done on other projects, other systems, other delvings. And then Corsairs of Umbar came out. So I would imagine there will come a time at some point where we've had an intention to bring delvings backwards, but it's not going to happen until the available development time is there. And I don't think that's going to happen necessarily anytime too soon. Shmooze, I'm not going to, like, say, publicly rate the community feed, like, how would I rate how the community rates the expansion? That doesn't sound like a very appropriate question. Also, it's still being written. have been paying close attention to everyone's feedback over the past week. We've responded with the patch this week. We've got a lot that we're doing for 38.1 and beyond as well. And we have a lot of content that we're still working on that's associated with the Corsairs of Umbar release. The instances and missions, delvings, raid, etc. Crafting work and beyond. So I think there's a lot yet to say about it. We've watched the videos, we've read the forum threads, we've read the very positive comments about story and landscape and everything, and we've read all of a handful of very negative comments as well, which is it's part of the gig. That's how it works. And we appreciate all the feedback. So,
the ships under
yeah,
construction
thank you.
will not speed up the process.
Looking at ain't doing nothing. Gondor must now depend on the skill of her craftsmen and the quality of their work, and her king must look to other matters. If the Kindred of the Coins turns its gaze upon our shores in the next few months, we will need Gondor's fleets repaired, but we will also need to repair the bonds of friendship between Gondor and the neighbors. Let us accept an invitation of the dwarves of Farouk Zahar. We will visit them in the White Mountains and negotiate a fair arrangement between their people and my kingdom. We may need true-hearted allies in the days to come, and Gondor's stonework could use the attention of such as the dwarves. Yo, Aaron, what do you think?
My husband speaks the truth.
Yeah, do it.
If ties of friendship are neglected, they can slip loose entirely.
Basically, be a smaller party. And we will rejoin you in Ost Engelbed.
You will want me along on this mission, of course.
Okay. So, now we're heading out. A little ways. Going up here on the map. So the best way to get there is really through fast travel. Let me figure out how I want to get there. I don't know if I can just go straight to Farouk Zahar. I don't know if I've been there on this character yet, but I guess we'll find out, huh? So I am a notorious taking the shortcut by just falling kind of game player in general. I am fully supportive of just, I mean, yes, it is, I guess, on the one hand, kind of lore breaking. Hopefully it's okay, because I can't stop. I couldn't not do this if I wanted to. I kind of have to. That's just how I operate.
What can I do for you?
They'll be fine. I cannot from here. So I can go, let's try the west gate. You mean, how satisfied are we with the result of Corsairs of Umbar? As with anything with game development and business and creativity and art and music and everything, it's a creative process, so I don't want to distill it down to, we're thrilled. We're very happy, and we want to work to address people's concerns. I guess that's where I'd say we are. I think we can all agree that the landscapes and the story, really sweet stuff. And we've got a lot of plans to expand it in the future. So, there we go, Farouk Zahar. I can just go there. I don't know specifically, Trish Lambert, if the clearing southeast of Umbar City with named NPCs standing under their own little palm frond shelters will be the instance hub, but that sure sounds like one to me. It's either that or it's going to be part of the, yeah, like someone else said, it's going to be perhaps part of the new questing area. I have not heard of any work being done on legendary bridles. Sorry. I haven't heard anything about that one. I would need to know, specifically about how those Gondor map decorations were created. Depending on the way they were created, it's theoretically possible that they could be turned into, you know, decorations that could be acquired and things like that. But I would really need to know, not me, person doing the work. It would really be a matter of digging into how it was created and what form it's in and things like that. Alright, so we've arrived. All are welcome. Affairs are such that we need some preparation. I ask that you wait until I hear word from my brethren we can enter. But also bring a gift. Which we don't have.
We are here on a mission of
So,
friendship.
we're going to do some
We'll
hunting.
do what custom and tradition demand.
We're going to do some hunting. Off this way. Oh yeah, I'm sure. That's good. Yeah, I'm sure. I appreciate that you've actually collated that, I guess. That sounds sweet. So, I don't know. Maybe someone like a scenario where someone could take a look at that and make it happen. I don't know. Unfortunately, that also is a systems question. Which is, why can't burglars use legendary one-handed axes? Unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know. Because we said so, I guess. I don't know, that's not a very good answer, though. Can I get up here? Yes. Alright. Arabani, I'm not actually sure what you're referencing. If you are missing some points from your VIP subscription, please do get in touch with customer support. Send in a ticket to account support, and they'll be able to sort you out. Daddy John, my understanding is that instance rewards will be updated when the new instances are released. And so, if your question is why are old instances not yet providing updated rewards, that would be because the instances from which the updated rewards work will come is not yet released. Okay, you say you should wait for news and patch notes. Well, everybody, if you don't mind, I know you've been, I see you on the forums. Just private message me your ticket number, and I'll take some time to look into it in the next day or so when I can. I don't know. Could well be that there's some subset of users out there that need a wider, some kind of reconciliation point grant that I'm just not up to speed on, so. If CS is telling you that it needs to be done in a kind of a patch or an update, then I would expect that work to happen here in the near future. Sorry. I think that at the moment, Orion is going to be pretty busy working on crafting and, you know, the instance work and all delvings and a whole bunch of things. I guess I haven't really heard of a lot of PvMP plans, although he did mention something not that long ago, right? So I know that we've got a few things in the works. But I think we're going to be kind of busy, at least in the next, let's say, 30 days. I'm not aware of a ton of PvMP work that's going to be taking place. We mentioned at the start of the show, the new instances are set for early next year. We'll have more information about it as we get closer to it. But that's the timetable for the new instances.
Yes, this gift will do nicely. However,
Still not ready. We need to wait. I'm waiting. Yeah, I can't really sort through what your specific ticket issue might be, Arabani. Just kick me the ticket number and private message, and I can sort through it. Okay. I have waited enough.
This is intolerable! How long do they intend to make us wait?
LSR gives Gimli a meaningful look. So, I have been saving the Song of Waves and Wind for this character for the live stream. But of course I want to run the content and do the other stuff. So I have been playing the chapter story off stream on a different character. Not just because I want to, but also because I want a little bit of understanding of what I'm doing here on the air, so it's not always 100% cold. And I've really been enjoying it. I've really been enjoying it. And hopefully you believe the same. Will we ever see Isengard rebuilt? I don't know. that the Deco2U website really is a huge resource for us. Not just for the community, but I think everyone appreciates all the work that's gone into that website over the years. It's really great. Also really great, by the way. How nice is this looking? Oops. Sorry about that. My mouse is having a brief issue. Also, my CPU just spiked.
Welcome, King
All right.
Alessa, to the stronghold of Aruk Zahar.
How shameful that our folk have remained neighbors for so long without coming to visit. I gave my greeting to the king, but of course his companions are welcome here as well. He and I have matters to discuss. I would not think to bore you with such matters. I hope you will explore. I mean, I know when I'm not wanted. So. Will we ever get to the scouring of the Shire? Someday. We have a lot to do yet before that happens, but...
I ask that you wander elsewhere, stranger. There's nothing for you here.
Dread. I'm sure it's fine. It's just a scary basement, probably. That's not it.
It is good to see you again.
And I'm sticking to the epic story, but like I say, you could be picking up quests and things here too. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fully just do the epic story without doing any kind of leveling up and such, but I'll probably do that off stream. We'll see. That's interesting, Martin. I would have to follow up with Scenario to know more about what he's talking about there. Oh, kitchens. I actually saw the kitchens earlier, did I not? Yep. My belief is that we're going to be working on endgame high-level content for a little while here. So the idea of going back to a level 50-60 zone is a cool one. I guess I think in general the focus will be on more endgame and higher level content for the foreseeable future. The Timamir have always welcomed visitors, but Hamisar shut the gates for a reason. He did not intend to invite Gondor's war to our doorstep. I'm having problems with my steed. There we go. Oh. That's interesting. There's a... I mean, I suppose it would make sense that a baby... Is it really a mammoth, or is it like a mumak or something? Okay. Interesting. Saying that might be the biggest pet ever? Seems reasonable. Seems true. I know that the spirit bear that I've been giving out for extra life rewards is also quite large. I don't know how that compares. I'll have to see.
Amisar and I have come to an arrangement. During the discussion, something revealed itself to me.
Amisar spoke of a group arising in Umbar across the Bay of Belfalis. He says they call themselves the Kindred of something. What was it? LSR being sneaky.
They are called the Kindred of the Coins, LSR, but feel no shame at forgetting it.
One of their group visited a few weeks ago with a proposal.
This messenger was named Koltek, and he belongs to the Kindred of the Coins.
You know what, let me real quick turn down the music a smidge and turn up the VO a smidge. There we go.
This messenger was named Koltek, and he belongs to the Kindred of the Coins.
Now they name it a free city and seek allies to defend themselves from those who preferred the old order of things, and from Gondor, it must be said. It was a proposal of peace and friendship that Koltek brought to me. I do not wish to become involved in the affairs of Umbar, so while I didn't immediately refuse, nor did I give him enthusiastic agreement. I sent him on his way, but he was disappointed if he was disappointed he didn't show it when he left. That was a fortnight ago. But we have spoken now for such a time that my throat is parched, so get out of here.
We will accept your gracious offer of hospitality, Amisar.
And I thank you for dealing with the emissary of the Kindred of the Coins. As you say, Gondor does not wish for war, and if Umbar does not offer violence, we will have no need to respond with such. So, we're going to guest rooms and hanging out. No, see, my steeds are properly trained. They actually, like, you might hear a leg breaking sound, but that's just because they're playing it up for the live stream. It's a showmanship thing. They themselves are perfectly capable of handling such falls with grace. A near martial arts style ability to fall from giant heights and suffer no actual damage. It's an interesting posit, schmooze, that previously we guided people more from quest hub to quest hub, and now it is more of an explore the map and find the quest approach. I don't know what has led to this design change. I don't think that that's actually true, though. I think we still guide people along the new regions, like in Corsairs of Umbar, where we kind of guide you to the various places that you've seen, quests that you can pick up all around you. I think there's interest in not only doing that, though, and offering for those who do like to explore the Lord of the Rings Online, which is a lot of you, the ability to have moments of discovery and adventure and things like that outside of that kind of main direct path. So if we've been able to do a little bit more of that, perhaps, in the past year or so, I guess you could call it a trend. But I also think that that's always kind of been the case.
I do not like this. Hamisar is hiding something.
Hamisar is hiding something. Be on guard.
Do you really think Hamisar is lying to the king? Why would he risk such a dangerous deception?
That Hamisar is lying to us.
I knew there was something afoot when he made us wait so long on the doorstep. It was not mere discourtesy. It was villainy. We have yet to discover what kind, but it's there. Do you think it has something to do with the unpleasant sensation of dread we felt by that door south of the throne room? What is Hamisar keeping in that chamber? I know in skirmishes we have Bree with snow. Can we get seasonal weather based on our seasons in the real world? No. I mean, I suppose theoretically we could. But I don't know that that's really a direction we'd want to go with it. Besides, as someone pointed out, some of the challenges. And the fact that there's weather all over the world, but... I think if we're going to do something like that, the time might be better spent just letting people pick their own weather. This has been answered before, but a lot of the questions related to, like, there's an outfit I see on an NPC, can we get that outfit? Really depends on the nature of how that particular content NPC, and in some cases specific part of the NPC was created. There are times where they could take, say, you know, some kind of mesh or a piece of art that was created and then apply it to the NPC and apply it to a cosmetic item. But there are also times where it's largely just hand painted in a way that it's not separate in a way that could be done like that. So it really depends on the item itself. And I'm not sure about the elves in Lorien or Mirkwood in particular. So I see a dwarf here, a Gondor.
You are a companion of the King of Gondor. Have we met?
My memory for faces is not what it once was, and I am far from home. Quietly, we should not speak here. Let us meet inside the armory, across the water to the northeast.
When I first arrived here, the Temamir showed me a great deal of hospitality.
And Hamisar gave me his personal welcome. I was impressed. Farukazar outshone all the places I'd been to, but then it all changed. A few days ago, an emissary from the Kindred of the Coins arrived. His name you know, for Hamisar told it to you, but he withheld his epithet and the folk to whom he belongs. His full name is Koltek the Cunning, and he is a dwarf of the... I'm sorry, they just said it. Temamir, I believe, right? Who hails from some distant land. And yet it was not from Umbar he came, or at least not directly. He came from the west. From conversations I overheard, I understand he received a delivery of some artifact from the north, and brought it with him to Faruk Zahar. Hamisar told you this emissary of the Kindred departed, but I think he's still here. It is the dread of the artifact he bears that we sensed inside the door. I don't know why the Temamir became so cold to me after he arrived, or why their leader lies to the King of Gondor, but I thought you should know. Some intrigue. I've not heard of any intention to update skirmish barter camp loot. You're correct, it's been a while. We have a lot of loot and a lot of systems to support, and we've been adding to said systems with, like, say, delvings and, well, we got a lot. You just saw dozens and dozens of items get released this week with the loot boxes and barters and what have you. So I would imagine skirmish camps at some point, their time will come. But I have not heard of that time being anytime soon. I too would love to have more outfit slots.
He told me what he said to you.
There's some UI specific work that would need to be done to be able to expand the system beyond its current boundaries. And I think there's some engineering work that might need to be done related to game performance to make sure that it would be okay. But assuming both those things checked out, I too would love to see a whole bunch more wardrobe space available. Alright, we do in fact have the Tolkien Professor coming up here in just a couple of minutes. I think we'll wrap up here at 2.7, Koltek the Cunning. Gongur Farwind was just here and told me what he said. I asked him to describe Koltek, and he did the best he could, saying his memory for faces is not what it used to be. Kabar sketched a drawing from the description. Here it is. Alright, so I think... That's cool. I think we'll leave it here. Seems like a good place to go. Thanks for watching Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. Actually, next Friday is, now that I think about it, next Friday is a day off. I will probably not be here next Friday. But I will see you in 2 weeks for more Court of the Rings right here on Twitch. Have fun, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.